Hey, Lost Odyssey. Woo. I don't know where I am in the game, I forget. Maybe we can finish it today? Who knows? Did I ever grab this before I saved? Yes I did. Okay. Do I need to rest at all? I'll rest anyway, it doesn't really matter. Nope. Yes. Alright. We're all good. Anything else to probe? Or open? Like you? A seed. I haven't turned my seeds in a while. How many do I have? Or, no, they're valuables? Or treasure? Oh yeah, valuables. I have 20. Maybe let's go turn those in. I'm assuming they're still done from the first time I was here. I can't do any of them anyway. There we go. I'll probably be doing some reading over here. I should really talk to these guys, because they... Or talk to people, because they give you stories. Anything over here? No. I remember there being a that's blown up. I remember there being a crate or a chest inside the market that I never grabbed. What are they all staring at? And I'd also like to buy some items. So... I didn't grab this one. Tired of it. He was the one who suggested going on the gondola on our date. Just how long it's been like 3 months. Didn't I tell him about you? Is he over here? No. Is he down this way? Yeah, I forget where he is. I got that one over there. Yeah. Alright. Can I go inside these back areas now? I have the queen with me. Rude. What do you have for sale? Alright. That should be fine. We have all these. I'm still rich. I forget where that guy was. Bro, please, gotta let me back there. Rude. I have the queen with me. The queen. Oh, hello? God, my mom's so slow, she really ought to stay home and take care of the housework. Instead, she's getting too old for this. Well, sorry. What story here? Yep. Kyron recalls a memory that was locked deep within his heart. Am I in a party? No, I should be. There we go. Return of the native. The mother stands by the island pier, waiting for her son. My screen's dirty. Like, very dirty. You know, hold on, since this is a white background, I'm gonna take care of that real quick. Alright, that's better. Mother stands by the island pier waiting for her son. Her luggage is bigger than she is, dressed in her finest traveling clothes. She seems hardly able to contain her excitement as she speaks to Kayam, who happens to be waiting for the same boat to arrive. I got a letter from him, she says. Almost 30 years have passed since her only son left for the island after his birth. There was no word from him in all that time until he recently wrote announcing his successes, and he plans to bring her to the mainland. I've been alone here since I lost my husband, so just think I might be able to spend the rest of my life with my son, his wife, and my grandchildren. She sold the house she had always lived in, and has been waiting for her son to come for her. The letter arrived over a week ago. I wonder what's taking him so long. The seas are calm. Kayam arrived here on yesterday's ferry. You mean he's late? Kayam asked with some surprise. Very, she replies, forcing a smile. I wonder what's wrong. Maybe he got busy all of a sudden and can't pull himself away from his work. He hasn't written again to explain. He never bothered with things like that since he was a child, she says, straining to smile again and glancing towards the horizon. No bigger than a dot at first, the boat is now enough for a clear view of the mast in silhouette. Anyhow, I'm not worried. I know he'll be under this boat, she says, raising herself with a dockside crate on which she is sitting and waving a handkerchief towards the approaching vessel. Kayam also stares hard at the boat, which gives his eyes a stern expression. Young man. At the sound of the mother's voice, Kayam hastens to soften his gaze before turning towards her. You are a traveler, aren't you? That's right, he says. I saw you arrive on yesterday's ferry. Are you leaving so soon? She is obviously curious about this stranger, but her face shows no wariness towards outsiders. We'll leave to see this, Kayam replies. I'm doing the same thing you are, waiting for someone to arrive. On this boat? Yes, probably. You haven't been in touch with this person? No, we haven't agreed on the time. I might be waiting for nothing too. Oh really? Kayam evades further questioning with a strained smile. This is not something he can discuss with just anyone. He is on a secret mission, one that must not fail. The woman still wears a look of puzzlement, but the conversation is swallowed up in the general hubbub on shore accompanying the approaching of the boat. At last the ferry arrives. One by one the passengers alight after their half-day trip from the capital onto the mainland. Clutching the handkerchief to her breast, the mother scans each of them. There are peddlers who travel from island to island hawking their wares, and men who have come to do larger-scale trading, sunburned young men and a woman who arrive from the mainland in groups to work on the island's farms, and men coming home to the island after a season of labor on the mainland. None of the dozens of passengers, however, is a woman's son. Once it has disgorged its island-bound passengers, the ferry takes on people crossing to the mainland. Greeters on the pier give way to well-wishers. The mother turns her back on the piers, hustle and bustle, and blows her way towards the town. She hoists a heavy pack onto her back and lifts a large suitcase in each hand, but she has taken only a few steps when the pack begins to slide off. Kayam reaches out to keep it from falling. The woman turns with a look of surprise, and when she realizes that Kayam is alone, she asks, "So your person didn't come either?" Looks that way. With only one ferry a day from the mainland, all they can do is wait till tomorrow. Are you going to stay on the island until your friend comes? I might have to. You could run up quite a hotel bill that way. I'm alright, I'm used to camping out. Camping out, she exclaims with a look of amazement. Then she smiles and says, oh well, you're young and in good condition. A few days sleeping outdoors shouldn't be too hard on you. What are you going to do, ma'am? Go back home? I wish I could. I stole my house last week. I was so sure my son would come get me right away. I hate the discouragement clouds her face, but she quickly recovers her smile and continues. The money I got from the house is a nice little bundle, so I've decided to spend freely for my change. See the large hotel over there? I'm staying in their biggest room and taking it easy all day and all night too. Disappointed when he doesn't show up, of course, but I worked my fingers to the bone all these years. It wouldn't hurt for me to indulge myself just this little bit. Though delivered with a smile, her words touched Kayam deeply. In her case, worked my fingers to the bone is not just a figure of speech, as evidenced by her sustained or suntan face, which is so unsuited to the cosmetics she has applied to her son, and especially by her bony fingers, so ill-concealed by the cheap rings she is wearing. Hard as she undoubtedly worked, life has granted her a few rewards. There's nothing expensive about her luggage. I'm sure your son will be here tomorrow, Kayam says. The deeply wrinkled face breaks into a joyous smile. Yes, of course, tomorrow for sure, she says with a deep nod. I hope the person you are waiting for comes on tomorrow's boat too. Thank you very much, he replies. I have an idea, she says. You might get sick camping out. If you'd like, when I'll stay in my hotel, I'm sure we could arrange something for one extra person. Kayam senses that she is not suggesting this out of mere politeness, which is precisely why he demurs with a smile and a nod. Thanks just the same, he says. But don't worry about me, just take the rest you deserve after all your long years of hard work. If you say so, she seems somewhat disappointed but does not press him to accept. As he watches her trudge off towards her hotel alone, all but hidden from view by her huge bundles, Kayam wonders if perhaps she was hoping that his company might ease her concern that her son might not show up after all. Even so, he decides not to chase after her and retract her refusal. He is the wrong man to spend time with a mother whose only dream is to have a happy old age. Most likely when tomorrow's boat arrives, she will finally be reunited with the son she has longed to see all these years. The person that Kayam is waiting for will almost certainly cross over to the island tomorrow. The mother will undoubtedly shed great tears when her reunion takes place. Kayam, on the other hand, has a bloody job to perform when he encounters the man he's waiting for. It's the son, isn't it? Kayam has been hunting him. The man is a fugitive, and there is a reward on his head. He is known as the boss of an underworld gang in the capital. He has committed crimes without number: robbery, fraud, extortion, assault, and even murder. To cap his life of crime, he double-crossed his own gang and ran off with a great deal of money. Word reached the gang only a few days ago that the man is headed for this island, the place of his birth, and then hired Kayam to take care of him. The fact that they hired Kayam means they are ready to have him killed on sight. Kayam and the mother meet at the dock again the next day at the same time, and again the next day, and the next day, and the day after that. The ones they were waiting for never come. A week goes by. The mother switches accommodations from her expensive hotel to a cheap inn frequented by traveling peddlers. Actually, I'm more comfortable in a cheap place like this, he tells Kayam with a laugh, but more than likely your money would have run out in the first hotel. Your person is very late too, she observes. True. Who is it? He sidesteps the issue with a strained smile. He cannot answer her question if he is going to carry out his duty, and besides, he feels a tiny premonition deep inside. The mother stops questioning him and says, I hope your person comes soon. Another 3 days go by. A messenger from the gang, disguised as a peddler, whispers to Kayam that he steps off the ferry. We think he's still hiding in the capital. We're looking in every rat hole we can find, but there's no sign of him. Kayam nods silently and glances at the boat. Even after the last passenger alights, the mother stands on the pier, looking up at the boat's empty deck. Let me ask you, young man, the mother says to Kayam 3 days later. Does this place where you're camping out have a roof to keep the dew off? Kayam has been sleeping in a dilapidated old house he found near the arbor. All I need is a place to sleep, she says. Would you mind if I joined you there? What's that? The place I'm staying now is not much better than a ruin. I'm sure I'd be fine wherever you're staying. Yes, I'm sure I'll be fine. She smiles like a child who has found a new source for mischief. Kayam does not refuse her. More precisely, he cannot refuse her. She has probably run out of money even to stay in her current flop house. Kayam has noticed her cheap rings gradually disappearing from her bony fingers. As they pass the night in the abandoned building, the moon their only source of light, the mother, without prompting from Khayyam, spills out her memories of her son. They are by no means pleasant memories, known as a roughneck. Even from his earliest years, the boy was aided by all the neighbors and caused his parents a good deal of shame. He would steal our money, stay out all night partying, and before we knew it, he was the number one thug on the island. He was always getting into fights and bothering girls. During the island's annual festival, he would go wild and destroy property, so my husband and I would have to go around apologizing to everyone. The father, a skilled stonemason, lost his job when the son stole valuables from the boss's house. The mother could hardly walk down the street without being subjected to the glares and finger pointing of the neighbors. Things go especially bad after the son set fire to the island assembly hall just for the fun. His parents raised him badly. The boy's misbehavior is the parents' responsibility. The son has become such a thug because his mother spoiled him rotten. It's the parents' fault, the father's fault, the mother's fault, your fault. They had heard all of it. It was so hard for us on a little island like this. There was no place we could hide. The boy was 18 when he finally ran away from the home, or rather left the island where his parents all but disowned him. The other islanders rejoiced as if the plague had lifted. One man went so far as to deliberately let the parents overhear him declaring, "I hope that bastard goes to the capital and dies in the gutter." The boy's father died 5 years ago. To the very end, he would not forgive his son, and in his final delirium, he was still apologizing to the islanders. But still, to a mother, any son is baby. She once scared. I never heard a word from him, but I went on praying that he would stay healthy in the capital, that he wouldn't catch whatever epidemic was going around, that he wouldn't get into fights. But that's just me, I guess. She gives Khayyam a bitter smile, or maybe it's just me being a mother. She adds, "You have parents too, I suppose." "Of course you do. Everyone has parents." "True." "Are your father and mother alive and well?" Khayyam bows his head in silence. On a journey with no clear beginning and no definable end, Khayyam is unable to answer a question like this. Instead, he asks the woman, what is the first thing you'll say when you finally get to meet your son?" "Good question," says the mother. After thinking it over a few moments, she replies, "I won't actually say anything. I think I'll just hug him and say nothing at all. I'll hold him tight and let him know how glad I am that he's still alive and well." Just supposing, though, Khayyam presses her gently. "If you knew that he had lived a less than exemplary life in the capital too, would you still give him a hug?" Her response is instantaneous. First I'd hug him, then I'd give him good talking to. She smiles shyly at Khayyam and adds, "That's what being a parent is all about." The next morning, she runs a high fever. She may have survived the dew, but at night in the dilapidated building, she has taken a toll on the old woman's health. Even so, when it is time for the ferry to arrive, she struggles to her feet and heads towards the pier with uncertain steps. Alarmed, Khayyam holds her back. "You're in no shape to be going out," he says. Despite his attempts to bring down her fever with cold spring water from the forest, it is high as ever. Her labored breathing has taken on a congested rumbling. "I have to go," she insists. "My son is coming for me. I'm going to see him." She sweeps away Khayyam's restraining hand, but the effort causes her to lose her balance and sinks to her knees. "If he's on board, I'll bring him here," Khayyam assures her. "Tell me how I can recognize him." Cradled in Khayyam's arms, half delirious with fever, the old woman mutters, "On his left cheek, before he left the island, he got into a fight. Somebody cut him. He has a scar." Khayyam nods and lowers the old woman to a straw mat spread on the ground. He fights back a sigh and closes her eyes momentarily. Then he stares hard through a small window at the ferry dock. His suspicions were right after all, though he was sure of it last night. Khayyam was given a written description of the man when he took on the assignment from the gang. There could be no doubt. Scar on the left cheek. The ferry is approaching the harbor. The pier is showing signs of activity. Khayyam starts for the door. Behind him, he hears a woman saying, "Please, don't kill him. Don't kill my boy." Khayyam stops short, but instead of turning around, he bites his lip. "I don't know what he did in the capital, but don't kill him. Please." So she knows too. She knows everything. "If you have to kill him, if you absolutely have to, please, before you do it, let me just..." Khayyam leaves the room in silence. His steps are uncertain as he makes his way into the blinding glare of the afternoon sun. This time the man is there, trying to lose himself among the traveling peddlers. The man with the price on his head and the scar on his left cheek steps down to the pier. He is far more emaciated than Kaiam's writing's description would have led him to believe. No doubt he is exhausted from his years as a fugitive. Still, he has fulfilled a promise to his mother by coming back to the island of his birth. His eyes dart fearfully over the pier. His expression changes from that of the old man searching for something to a panic look of a child who has become separated from his parent. Kime slowly plants himself in front of him. The man knows nothing of Kime's mission, of course, and he has never met him before, but he has that instincts of an inhabitant of the back alleys. His face freezes and he turns to flee. Kime grabs him by the shoulder, but lightly in a way that will make him an onlooker that he knew was witnessing his joyful reunion of his old friends. The man tried to shake off the hand to no avail. It would be easy enough for Kime to kill him on the spot. His eyes show that he has no strength left to fight. Kime has far more experience than the man does at surviving potentially fatal encounters. The man knows this. If you're going to kill me, get it over with, he snarls. But if you got a trace of kindness in you, you'll give me one last chance to do something good for my mother. It won't take long, just let me see her once, then you can do whatever you like with me. Kime lets his hand drop from the man's shoulder. He is not going to run away, so I didn't make it after all, he says with a forced smile. His face tells Kime that he has probably resigned himself to his fate. It suggests too on air relief at having finally brought his life as a fugitive to an end. How many men have you killed, he asks Kime. I don't have an answer to that, and I don't really want to tell you to tell me. It's just that, well, looking at you, I say I'm older than you are, and these are some things a person comes to realize when he's lived a long time. Think about the guys you've killed. Every single one of them had parents. Killing a person means killing somebody's child, right? When that finally dawned on me, I left the gang. Gangs don't pay retirement bonuses, so I sort of borrowed a little money from them and thought I'd use it too. Well, I've given my mother a hard time all these years. His voice grows thick and muffled. He shakes off the emotion and proclaims with a laugh, what the hell, there's a lot of sentimental nonsense. I don't know how many guys I've killed over the years, so I figured I'm getting what I deserve. I can't hate you for what you're doing. A shout comes from the ferry deck. We'll be departing shortly. All passengers bound for the capital should be boarding now. Kime looks hard at the man and says, just tell me one thing. The man says nothing in reply, but Kime continues. What's the first thing you're going to do when you see your mother? Huh? What are you talking about? Never mind, just answer the question. I'll say I'm back. No, I wouldn't say anything. I'll just take her into my arms, that's all. Give her a big hug. Sure, that's what parents and children are all about. Kime relaxes the grim expression on his face and jerks his chin towards the forest beyond the pier. There's an old broken-down house in the woods. Your mother's waiting for you there. Go to her. What are you talking about? Don't ever come back to the capital, and don't stay on this island. Take another ferry and go far away to some other island with your mother. The man looks stunned. His voice is trembling. Kime says nothing more. Leaves the man behind and strides towards the boat before he can depart. Mission accomplished. Kime does not care if, in return for this deed, he is labeled a traitor to be pursued by the gang. The image of his own parents praying for their son's welfare has long since faded from his memory. Pouring out, please hurry, comes the cries of a ferry crew. A big gong is ringing, startling by the sounds reverberating between the vast stretch of ocean and the open sky. Brightly colored birds dart up from the forest, large birds and small birds, parrots and their young. The large birds seem almost to be shielding the smaller ones beneath their slowly beating outstretched wings. End. How many more stories do I have to read? I forget how to look. Dreams? What was that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 more stories. I think they're like not attainable though, since I already passed them. Get back to full screen. There we go. Oh, okay. There we go. That's not enough. No, maybe if I can get 2 more. Do I have any more? No, I don't have any more. Okay. What do you got? Anything for me? To give you? Nope. Nothing in here. Alright. else can we do? Any more stories around before I go? Wherever it is I'm going? Hey, you can't just take that. Hey, come back here. Haha, make me. Bye, he gets me every time. I'm gonna teach him a lesson one of these days. End story. Hold on, I'll be back in 1 minute. Alright, so I think that I got a glimpse of the title of this story. I think it was Lottery of Life. Alright. Having kids like playing the lottery, that's how the police commissioner put it with a grim smile on his eye. He was the man in charge of domestic security. Sometimes you pick a winner and sometimes you pick a loser. Life is like that, you can't control it. Time responded with a silent nod. Not that he was convinced that you could divide people into winners and losers, but that was how they did it here in the country. That was the size of a city. He had no choice but to recognize it as a reality because the man who kept the peace here believed it, and this nation was known for having the best public safety of all the countries in the region. Every kid in there is a loser, he spat out, jerking his chin towards the juvenile prison visible from the office window. Built to hold young criminals, this was the largest and the most strictly run and most closely guarded prison to be sent in any of the neighboring countries. Its treatment of this young inmates were also the harshest. You are a foreigner, Khayyam, so you may not approve, but we have our own way of doing things. I see, Khayyam said. Losers are losers. There's nothing you can do to make losers into winners. It's never going to happen. Far from it. If you cuddle losers, they'll just turn into bigger losers and give the decent people a lot of trouble. See what I mean? That's one way of looking at things. Khayyam deliberate irony was lost on the police commissioner. No, it's the only way. If you're going to have a safe, peaceful country, he declared, and we'll expect you to abide by this view too. Khayyam has nothing more to say to him. If he were to insist on confronting the police commissioner, he may be seen as questioning the authorities, which could land him into adults' prison. That would be easy enough to bring him for the police commissioner, and indeed for anyone in the city-state who stood on the side of the powerful powers that be. The commissioner glanced again towards the juvenile prison. They built that place 80 years ago, he said, which is to say the very first building that made when the present political system came to being. Hold on, I'm grabbing a cough drop. Actually, I shouldn't grab a cough drop from reading. Which is to say the very first building that they made when the present political system came into being was a prison to throw young offenders into. Chaim knew this. For Chaim, whose life went on forever, events of 80 years before it could well have happened yesterday. 80 years earlier, this country had experienced a Cope D8. The revolutionary government ruled the people under a military dictatorship and jailed every last person suspected of disturbing the peace and order. The government was especially wary of young criminals. There's a limit to how serious a kid's crimes can be, but let them get away with those, and the next thing you know, they are doing really bad stuff. They might be satisfied with shoplifting at first, but soon they're into burglary, muggings. They start using weapons, and in the end, there's nothing of killing people. They think nothing of killing people. You have to nod them in the bud. You have to nip them in the bud. The kids sent to prison were fed the absolute minimum to keep them alive. No doctor saw them if they fell sick or were injured. Subjected to such harsh imprisonment, they succumbed on one after another, and more than a few of them ended up as cold corpses pitched out the back door. Whenever one did manage to serve out his term and return to the outside world, he found it impossible to raise the brand of loser. Children with criminal records were soundly rejected by respectable society. The social systems were structured in such a way that nothing worked for them. Employment, marriage, even finding a place to live. Expelled by society, those boys and girls returned to a crime as a way to stay alive, eventually ending up in adult prison. With a bitter smile, the police commissioner said to Chaim, "I'm sure this all sounds terrible to an outsider like you." Chaim answered with a slight nod. This only served to increase the bitterness of the commissioner's smile. "I know what you're thinking," he said, "and to tell you the truth, I sometimes think the system is a little too harsh on them too. But you have to realize that we're not punishing the bad kids, we're also holding them up as an example to the good ones. What would they think if they saw an ex-criminals out on the street again walking along like nothing's ever happened? They'd figured that even if they got their hands dirty and spent a few years in jail, they could just go back to their old lives. That society's punishment is no big deal. But they can get away with murder. We wouldn't want our kids to be like that, would we? So the only thing is for us grown-ups to teach them. Look at those guys, who we can say, all it takes is one bad deed and your life is over. So you'd better listen to your parents and teachers and be good." He definitely had a point. Chaim was willing to grant him that, but still, the commissioner must have noticed a hint of shadow crossing Chaim's face, and he shifted his tone of voice. With bureaucratic conviction, he declared, "The authorities have received word that this is going to be a coup. There is going to be a coup. Of course, the military has everything under control. There's nothing to worry about. They could suppress it right now if they wanted to. They could easily attack the agitators and capture the ringleaders of the plot. In this case, though, they have decided to let it get started in order to smoke out every last one of the reactionary elements." According to the government's intelligence, the uprising was scheduled to occur that very night. We are prepared for just about any eventuality, but there is always a possibility of the unexpected. If there was a riot inside the juvenile prison, time to coincide with the rebellion, that could be a real problem. This is why Chaim had been hired as a temporary prison guard, a bodyguard for the state. "We're counting on your skills as a seasoned warrior, which is why we're entrusting you with such a major responsibility. Be sure that you live up to our expectations. If you have to resort to violence, we have no problem with that. Whatever you do, it will be for the sake of law and order. It will be in the order to protect the happy lives of decent citizens of our nation. Carry out your duties with complete dedication of body and soul." The commissioner handed Chaim a one-page document. It was literally a license to kill. "Act without the slightest restraint. All the prison guards have one of these, but still, if you hesitate to impose the ultimate punishment on a single loser, then countless winners among the upstanding citizenry might suffer the consequences. You understand, I'm sure, once a loser, always a loser, rather than living with such a burden. They themselves might be happier to have you kill them and get it over with." Chaim accepted the document from the commissioner without comment. "That completes our contractual arrangement. Now assume your post." With a perfectly straight face, the commissioner cautioned Chaim, "Just make sure you don't let any foolish compassion get in your way." The season was in midwinter, but Chaim found no hint of a fire burning in the juvenile prison. In their tiny solitary cells, the young inmates, wrapped in ragged blankets lay helplessly in the dark. Painful moaning came from one cell, suggesting its inmate might be running a fever. From another came unbroken, shrill, mean laughter that could only the person's mind had snapped. "What you see is what you get," said the veteran guard guiding Kayam on his first round of inspection. Not one of those faces shows any life, so even if something were to happen, these pitiful creatures couldn't do a damn thing. They're losers alright, they're breathing, but that's about it. Is there really no possibility of them being rehabilitated and becoming winners? The other guard gave Kayam a momentary blank stare, and then said with a laugh and a wave, "No, no, no, none at all." 80 years since the revolution and the change of generations have replaced virtually all the people from the time. Since coming of age, the prison guard, who had no memory of life before the revolution, had been implanted with the idea that people were either winners or losers, and he surely never doubted it. They went out of their way to hire you, so it might be a little strange for me to say this, but I'm sure the kids in here are never going to riot, no matter how wild things get on the outside. Splash a little cold water on them, and they'll quiet right down. There's almost none of them you have to worry about. Almost. Well, I can claim that about every single one of them. There are even losers among the losers, unfortunately. The guard showed Kyle to the end of the hall, and there he opened the lock on the door so thick it could be mistaken for a section of a wall. Beyond here are the punishment cells. This is where we throw the incorrigible losers, the ones who have caused trouble on work details, the ones who take a defiant attitude, the ones who show no sign of remorse for their crimes. Suddenly, it was clear to Kayam. It was clear to him because he had experienced countless battlefields in his life. The punishment cells were darker and far colder than the regular cells, but from the depths of the darkness, from within each individual cell, there emanated a quiet heat that could not be felt from the regular cells. The people in here were alive. They were not simply breathing, they were alive with real passion. The crimes that originally got them locked up in here were nothing much. A little burglary, some purse snatching, flashing a knife, stuff like that. If they had just quietly served out their terms, they'd be out by now, living obscure lives somewhere. Instead, they resisted and kept resisting. They called for better treatment of inmates. They appealed for an end to discrimination against former prisoners. The number of their crimes multiplied until it became clear that they were never going to get out of there alive. They'll just go straight from here to the adult prison where they grow up. It'll be 20 or 30 years before they can breathe the outside air again. They can live that long, which would be quite an accomplishment. The guard concluded with a belly-shaking laugh, which was interpreted by a voice echoing from a dark cell. "Stop that laughing." It was a quiet but commanding voice, though one that retrained a hint of boyishness. A look of fear crossed the guard's face, though he quickly reverted to a sneer. "This is the biggest pain we've got," he said. "His name is Diran. They say he was a leader of a gang of juvenile delinquents on the outside, but here he's just a noisemaker." The guard picked up a bucket of water from the corridor floor with a thin sheet of ice on the surface and heaved the contents into Darian's cell. "This is what works best on these kids." Behind the bars, the drenched boy had rolled himself into a ball. This should be enough for them to freeze to death, but the water itself freezes again in the early morning, so then their hair and eyelashes and any other hair they've got get coated in ice. Some of them have lost fingers and toes to frostbite. The guard left again. Darian lay there curled up, but his eyes were shining with such intensity. It was as if he was trying to melt ice with the heat seething in his breast. Kayam knew those eyes. They were the eyes of a warrior, and not just any warrior, but the ones of the very front line of the losing battle, who watches for a chance to turn the battle in his favor. And Kayam knew something else, that the system was beginning to unravel. It had kept the people in a state of suppression for 80 long years, ever since the revolution, but the very moment of the undoing had arrived. The prison fire started that night. Kayam missed the coup. The guard came running to report the situation on the outside. Fires had been set throughout the city, he said. This was, of course, the uprising the government intelligence had anticipated. Martial law was declared and the government was mobilizing the entire police force and army. Word had come, too, that the ringleaders were already under arrest. One element, however, had been wholly unanticipated. The guard at Fortin. The wind is strong tonight. Fanned by unseasonable winds, the flames were racing throughout the city. On orders from the commissioner, we are not to fight fires in the juvenile prison. Is that clear? Do not engage in firefighting here. In other words, no one would be coming to save the inmates. It can't be helped, said the guard. The army and the fire department have all they can do to put out the fires in the city and evacuate the people. They can't spare any men to protect the place, and we've been ordered to join in the rescue effort in town. I guess that means we let the kids out. This was a given. Kaim assumed that locked up in their cells, the young inmates would burn to death. Don't be ridiculous, the guard shouts back. Or shout back. These kids are all losers. We've gone to the trouble of locking them in here, and now we're supposed to let them out. Are you serious? Kaim replied. Are you serious? I can't believe you'd say anything so stupid. I'm telling you, they're losers. We don't have time to save them, and we're certainly not going to let them run loose. The commissioner would never allow such a thing. He obviously meant every word he was saying. They were planning to let them die. The flames were spreading quickly, and screams could be heard throughout the prison. There was no time to appeal directly to the commissioner, and such a appeal would only end in failure, he was sure. Give me the cell keys, Kaim said. You're joking, the guard left. There was only one thing to do. Without a word, Kaim landed a punch in the guard's solar plexus. The guard went down into a heap, and Kaim tore the clump of keys from his belt. The first cell he opened was Darian's. The boy came out looking confused. Are you one of us? He asked Kaim. Are you with the coup? Not interested, he answered. So why are you letting us go? Darian asks. Because I don't like dividing people up into winners and losers. Thanks, Darian said. Duran. Sporting a big grin, he took the keys from Kaim and turned away to start opening the other cells. I want you to come back, Kaim said to him from behind. What's that? This is an emergency evacuation. When the sun comes up and the fires are out, I want you to come back here. You kids still haven't finished paying for your crimes. You must be kidding. Not at all, Kaim said. If you kids run away, they'll just prove they're right. Once a loser, always a loser. Is that all right with you? Don't you want to show the ones who rule this country that they're wrong? People can change. We'll never go in and get another chance like this. The coup is going to fail. You can run around all you want, but they're going to catch you in the end. You'll always be branded losers. They might even kill you when they catch you. Duran turned to stare at Kaim. The prison was already surrounded by flames against the bright red backdrop. Darian's eyes still burned with the frightening spirit of a warrior. This country's political system can't last much longer. The day will come when you kids can leave prison with your heads held high. I absolutely believe that, and because I believe it, I don't want to see you die for nothing. Kaim turned from Duran to pull the guard up from the floor. Come back after sunrise. With the final admonition to Darian, Kaim hoisted the guard onto his back and trudged away. The events occurred 50 years ago. An air of freedom pervades the country now when Kaim visits 50 years later. True, he does catch glimpses of young toughs and juvenile delinquents where the nightlife thrives, but he feels this is just a sign of the free and easy times. An old man calls out to him, "Are you a traveler?" When Kaim nods, the man says with a smile, "You're in luck, we're having a celebration in Revolution Square today. I hear the grand old man of the revolution is going to attend. It'll keep going all night long." Celebration? That's right. I see you're too young to know what happened here in the old days. We had a coup 50 years ago on this very day. The coup itself was put down in one night, but the rebel troops set fires all throughout the city, so the rest of us were running around like crazy in all the directions. Fanned by the wind, the flames quickly enveloped the whole city. A lot of the city people were stranded on a sandbar downwind. I was one of them. I had my pregnant wife and baby daughter with me, so I couldn't just dive into the river to escape. Before we knew it, sparks were raining down on the sandbar, and I figured we were done for. We'd all burn to death as soon as the drag race caught fire. Just as he was giving up hope, he says a helping hand was extended to them from the most unlikely source. The kids from the juvenile prison came to help us. They were all skin and bones, and their prison uniforms were falling apart. The prison staff hardly fed them a thing, but they pulled what little strength they had. They saved old folks and children from the sandbar, and they struggled to douse the fires that caught in the dry grass. I saw one boy carry a child across the river and collapse and die the second after he reached the other shore. Some of the other ones who were fighting grass fires were overcome by the smoke and burned to death. They risked their lives to save us. Their own lives were not worth living, but those losers risked their lives to save the lives of winners like us. When the sun came up and they could be sure that the fires were safely out, the young inmates went back to the juvenile prison. Yes, it's true, the place was an absolute hell for them. But they went back inside just the same. Not one of them took advantage of the confusion to run away. They played it strictly by the rules. When you say we were really moved by their behavior, and people started saying that maybe these losers had their good points after all. Maybe once a loser, always a loser was wrong. The whispers spread throughout the country, quietly but surely. Soon the view emerged that the treatment of juvenile prison inmates should be improved. Another increasingly wide-held view was that society ought to welcome the ex-inmates more warmly once they had paid for their crimes. Finally, the change in attitude towards loser children took the shape of dissatisfaction when the political system that had continued to foster such a dictatorship, and 40 years ago a second coup occurred. The next coup took the shape of a citizens' revolution that involved the masses, and for that reason it succeeded. That's how the form of government we have today got its start. Listening to the old man's reminiscence, Khayyam found himself smiling and nodding again and again, deeply moved. The last thing the old man tells him is the name of the hero who led the revolution and became the first president of the new government, Iran. Tens of thousands of people have gathered in Revolution Square as fireworks are sent aloft and a brass band plays the rousing national anthem. The grand old man of the revolution takes us to the stage amid thunderous cheers and applause. Duran, Duran, our Duran. Advanced in years now and having long since removed himself from the center of politics, Duran still has that youthful, fiery gleam in his eyes. There's no way for him to spot Khayyam among the assembled throng, and even if he were to notice them, he could never imagine that this young man, unchanged from 50 years ago, was a temporary prison guard on that fateful night. Still, the old hero proclaims, people can change, there are no winners or losers. His words are greeted with cheers and fireworks, and the excitement of the celebration reaches its peak. Khayyam makes his way to stand at the far end of the square and buys himself a cup of liquor. He raises his cup to the hero of the revolution, who, from the distant vantage point, appears to him no larger than this speck. He downs the drink in a single breath. When the intensity of strong liquor has passed his throat, it leaves a sweet and mellow aftertaste. Oh, so much reading. Was there Richard back here? Okay, we're good. Control that. Ugh. How do we get down there again? Around here? Yep. What do you got here? I don't really need bombs. I don't really use them that much. I could buy 2 of these. One to Khayyam, one to Seth. That's fine. Alright. What do I have on? Why do I have Sarah over Oh, she's not here. Okay. I don't really know what to do. Guess I can just go back to the boat. Um, I'd like to grab the harp so we can get that monster to spawn. I don't think we can get back to that place, but I'll go look real quick. We'll go straight, I guess. And down here? Or is it a no? That's a no. Well, we'll just head to the port then. Okay. Never mind. Am I going up here? I'm grabbing a new ship, right? I think. Never mind. Maybe it's to the other side. Through these doors? Nope. Taking the white boa, I'll pray for your success. What, just go through? Just do what you like. Oh, how sweet. Not over here. How do I get the white boa? Oh, I see. Am I just getting on the boat, I guess? Anything over here? Nothing over here, out this side? Hold on 1 second. Okay, we're good. So anything over here? Nope. This is the entrance to the Weboa. Board the ship, yes. Very well, sir. Watch your step. Jensen. Go to mana. We just leave? With the Grand Staff flown off to now, our first job is to find it. During our investigation, the Grand Staff was located on the Sea of Boss. Was it turning the energy of the Sea of Boss hypercurrents into magic power, in other words, recharging? Now that Gangor has used the energy up in Ura, he may return the Grand Staff to the Sea of Boss in order to recharge again. Gangor repaid Gatsa for attacking its coronation ceremony with the Grand Staff. Having seen this, the citizens of Ura have become devout believers in Gangor and the Grand Staff. There are those who speak out against him, but they are few and far between. What Ura does next is going to decide if the whole world descends into war or not. Talking to you? Hello, travelers. Would you like to have one of our special rings I make? Oh, it's this dude. What do you got? Nothing I want. Where have Cook and Matt gone off to now? Those children crawl into everything. Go to the engine area? Am I looking for Mac and Cook, I guess? I don't know. I don't want to climb. Nothing over here. Anything over this way? The engine room. Oh, can we play the what's it called? The harp? Or the harp? We're on the Weboa now? No. We cannot. Maybe if I am Ming in a minute, I'll be able to. But, as of right now, no. Where am I going? We got 2 Dark Demon Notes. Nothing. What are you? We got healing potion. No, go back in. Four flowers of suspicions, and goddess medicine. That's actually really good. I don't think you can buy those. Let's go to the engine area. No. Go to the guest area. No, we were just there. We have to go to the main deck. We started off at the pilot house. Ming.
Do you really mean it?
I can't say what Gongora might be planning. For him to remain in this world for his own selfish ends.
Not about him. About you. Don't you want to stay and save Namara?
There's something else to stay for, too. I'm so glad I met you.
What? A bum? Like me? I'm sorry. I'm not used to
1 second. My bad. We're good. Return.
You know, getting serious like this, and I mean, you. See, you're queen. You got a castle. It's, you know, own your own country. You know, I'm serious when I fall in love. I mean, you know, I don't play around like that. I mean, I know I am good looking and kind of irresistible. But see, I never thought you'd get serious about me. And I gotta tell you, I mean, you being immortal, and I'm just, you know, just a regular guy. You know, good sense of humor. You know, but I don't know what to say. Help me.
So queens shouldn't fall in love?
Oh. Okay. I know you're there. Kids.
Am I looking for Cook and Mac?
She likes you.
You two little snoops.
That's sweet. He's blushing. You're so cute, Jackson.
Ow! What are you, Seth's sister?
Aunt Ming, this is the guy for you?
He's the only one for me.
Well, I'm glad they found the slant nose. I thought for sure General Kakanas would kill me after she got stolen. Maybe the ship is no longer necessary without Kakanas, but I still love her all the same. Anyway, I'm glad we got it back in one piece. Now we just need an engine and we'll be back into business. Hey, it's that slant nose. You guys got her back. You're the guy from before. We wouldn't give you this ship. No way. Well, we don't really want it because we got a new one. Hold on a second, Mama. Take a look at that engine. Ah, you're right. Hey, you. Give that engine back to us. What? What are you talking about? We took this from a fish, you see? Don't give me that tall tale. If you find something someone dropped, you're supposed to return it to them. Give it back to our... You give us back our engine? Come on, can't you see how thankful I am that you found it? Said I don't think you're doing a good job at convincing them of that.
If we got Mama's engine on my Nautilus, we'd be in business.
What kind of business? Wow. Will she really go that fast?
Yeah, she'll be faster than the white boa. Ha! And she'll be able to jump again.
Whoa, amazing! Then we'll really be the flying pirates. That's so cool.
I don't think I need to look at this, but sure. While on the sea, the way boa controls work like those with the slant nose. To move backwards, press X while moving. To make the world map menu appear, click the right stick and move to the closest landing point. The way boa can navigate through certain ice fields, where the ice is relatively thin. The way boa is equipped with an internal hangar for the Nautilus. While in the Nautilus, approach the way boa and press A. The A store will be displayed. Press the A button to store the Nautilus in the hangar. With the Nautilus in the hangar, press B to launch. B launch is displayed at the bottom of the right. On the bottom right, you may press the B button to launch at any time. Press RB to go into pilot house of the white boa to bring up the navigation screen. Approach the pilot seat and select yes. While you are in the white boa, you can save the game or shop at all times. Nah, I'm okay. Nah, I'm okay. So I don't know where we're going, but we got like 5 different glowing spots, or 4 different glowing spots. So we're gonna go right. Get out of this menu. Alright. This ship is huge. Where am I landing at here? Other side, maybe? We'll cut through the ice. Alright, do I launch now? Reverse? Oh, okay. There's like nothing over here. Sure, a surface. And we came in from that spot right there. Camera hates me right now. Maybe we can land up here? Yeah, we can. Temple of Enlightenment. Sure. I don't think this is the right area. It's just a side thing we can do. And I just kind of want to finish the game. I don't really care about the side quests in this game. What's up with this place? Someone's got some awful taste. It looks like a temple of the Eastern tribe, a rather ancient one even. I can feel spirit magic in the air. Mag, hey, what's wrong? I'm not sure. I feel like it's like someone's calling me or something from deep inside. Huh? I don't hear anything. You sure you're okay? Yeah, but something just doesn't feel right. It's like electricity is flowing through my body. Kayam. Keep moving, we'll find out what it is soon enough. That's fine by me, but let's keep this slow and steady, okay? We're in Eastern Tribe territory here, and in ancient structure to boot, you'd best expect the unexpected. I agree, everyone be careful. Actually, I might do this, but like tomorrow, when I can actually speak. I just cannot read right now. So I might switch games. I will switch games actually. I don't know what to. Maybe I'll do another Resi run. I don't know. Like a Madhouse run or Resi. I wouldn't mind. I'll take a look. But yeah. I advanced the story a little bit and stuff. So that's saved. Oh, that's fine. Just switching games.